Hello, everybody. Akamatzu here with a thoughts video. So, now that I've gotten around to starting my Final Fantasy marathon, I'm going to try my best to do a thoughts video here on YouTube for each game in the marathon. So, for today, we'll be talking about Final Fantasy 1, in particular, Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. Now, this is the first time that I've ever played Final Fantasy 1. I did play Strangers of Paradise last year, which is supposed to be based on Final Fantasy 1. So there were some similarities, but most of the similarities that I got from this game was actually from World of Final Fantasy, which I've been playing offline, and which made, like Princess Sarah and Cornelia sound familiar. But for the most part, I didn't really know what to expect, and those names were just that. They were names, and once I left Cornelia, everything was new to me. So it was a very, very fresh experience for me. Right off the bat, I don't really have too many negative things to say. The ones that come off the top of my mind are the encounter rate is incredibly high. I am used to people complaining about the encounter rate or hearing people complain about the encounter rate from Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if you complain about the encounter rate in those games, you are absolutely going to hate the encounter rate in Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. It is at least 3 times as much. It is a lot of fights. It feels like when you're in the boat, it feels like the encounter rate is even higher, and it feels like you're gonna get into an encounter literally every 3 to 5 seconds, and I'm not exaggerating. It is that frequent. After a while, I saw myself running away from fights simply just to save time. In the end, when I finished the game, it was about 18 hours long, so it wasn't like it overstayed its welcome because the game in general is not too long, but the encounter rate is particularly very high. And that is about the biggest major negative that I can think of off the top of my head, really. I imagine if I probably play the older versions of this game, maybe the NES version, or I don't know, maybe the PlayStation 1 version, which was the version I was going to originally play, maybe I won't like it as much. I don't know, but it seems like some things they've taken to tweaking in the Pixel Remaster has probably made me like it more. I've been told that the backgrounds that are presented when you fight enemies are new, and they weren't like that, and the way you are presented with fighting enemies is also newish. So it seems like it has some tweaks that I honestly just appreciated. The backgrounds were beautiful. It really, like when you're fighting in the forest, it looks like you're fighting in the forest. When you're fighting on a bridge, makes it look like you're fighting on a bridge and stuff like that. And it all looks great. The character models look fantastic. The enemy character models look fantastic. The enemies themselves look great. It's cool to see where a lot of the enemies got started from. What's also really cool, I'm a big Final Fantasy 11 fan. I played the game for 13 years plus. So what's always a treat for me is seeing where names start from. There was now I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because I've been playing Final Fantasy 2 as well. I think it was a sword called the Werebuster in Final Fantasy 11. That is the base form of the Mythic Club. And in Final Fantasy 1, it was a sword. And I find those things to be fascinating. All these like names that are still around, 10 games later in Final Fantasy 11. It's great to see like where they started from and stuff like that, or creatures and where they started from. So that's been a treat as well. The music has been very good. It never got old. It was great. I went into the game expecting to dislike it because it was old. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it because of its age. I had the same worry with Persona 3 as well when I started playing it. I started with Persona 5 and I did 5 Royal, then 5 Strikers, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm going back to where, like Persona really became Persona with 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it." And I ended up loving it. For Persona 3. Became my favorite one, and I have to say that you can't go wrong with Final Fantasy 1. It's basic, sure, but it's good. You have dedicated jobs and stuff like that. I like that a lot. That was one of the main reasons I got into Final Fantasy 11 in the first place over other MMOs. It has abilities. The magic is a little strange. It took me a little getting used to, but when you get used to it, it's fine. It's good. And I think it's overall a good game. I thought it was fun. I did get lost. I'd probably say out of it, the 18 hours I played it, probably an hour with trying to find stuff, but I walked away from it having a great time, and I'm very happy that I finally got to experience the very first game in the series. And I'm hoping that this will continue as I play some of the later games from Final Fantasy 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I've never really played those. I played a little bit of 6 back in the day, less than an hour. So I'm hoping that feeling will persist through all of them. But that's all I got to say really about Final Fantasy 1. I loved it. Very little bads. Maybe the encounter rate could be a little less, but it was a great time. Hey, we reached the end of the video. Do you and me share the same opinion on FF1? Have you even played it? If you haven't, maybe consider checking out the Pixel Remaster. That's the version I played. Well, I would like to thank you so much for reaching it this far in the video. If you would like to join me over on my Twitch channel where I'm doing the Final Fantasy Marathon, we'd love to have you. I start my streams at 2 a.m. Eastern Time. You're more than welcome to join us if you would like to. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay crunchy, amigos.